What is your workflow like on if you're taking pictures on your phone
Mm,
and
mm,
posting them? What's your typical workflow like?
Okay, so two completely different things. I mean, two completely different workflows that I have. One is of my day-to-day phone usage, but which is the first one I'll talk about. I don't have that much of a workflow there. When I say day-to-day, it's photos of my dog, it's photos of my wife, it's photos of our life, uh, etc. It's not so much something that I'm treating as something that I need to sit down and edit on a PC. Okay, so these are my number one edit software is still Snapseed. It's only
Same.
because of it's honestly it's because of laziness more than anything else. I'm just used to opening Snapseed. It's muscle memory at this point, because Adobe Lightroom today is a much better software, especially because it has noise reduction and the ability for me to port over presets from my desktop to phone, etc. But Snapseed is what I use 90% of the time. My Snapseed folder on my phone is synced to Google Photos. So which means that that's the first thing. That's the first part of the workflow, by the way. For 8 years now, all my photos have been on Google Photos. uh, it just helps. I mean, I'm sure if you're on iPhotos, it's the same thing. You will have memories and you will have the ability to just turn back the clock and figure out whatever you want and find photos and find people more easily. Yeah, so Google Photos is number one, Snapseed is number two, right? I also have I mean, I have a grid app. I have a collage making app on my phone. It's a paid app which I bought because it's really nice for putting together Instagram stories or multiple tweets, multiple images in a single tweet, etc. So that's my daily life bit. So, but if I'm on any kind of a trip, like I was in Masai Mara for about 4 days last month, what I tend to do is, while I'll also copy all the photos from my camera to my laptop, right, for edit, I'll also connect my phone and take images of it. Okay, that is my other serious workflow. That is my And usually, what I tend to do at the beginning of such a trip is I tend to turn my smartphone camera's RAW mode on, so I have a second file option as well. So I literally treat it like a dedicated camera, and it's quite fun. It's only, I mean, it's quite sad that the bigger moments in my life is what I tend to see in big detail, when it's actually the smaller moments that mean more, because many years down the line, Google just throws a 2015 memory at me, and it's beautiful, and I wish
Yeah.
that I possibly use the same workflow, but it's the way of it. What I do tend to do is, I think in the last uh, especially since the pandemic began, since we've started doing all these online sessions, right, I've started to do a series of getting better with smartphone photography workshop type scene. Whenever I have the mood for it, or if there's somebody who asks for it, the first topic I pick up is smartphone photography. And because of me teaching that workshop, I have a library of really nice personal happy photos with my phone, right? Because every time I'm trying to illustrate a point, I'm looking for a photo, and I end up stumbling upon another great photo that I've taken, which I didn't even know existed, right? So that's a good thing. I think if you're listening in, and I think the only thing I'll ask you to do is, when we grew up, especially if you were a 90s kid, we would have these albums at home, right?
Oh yeah.
Uh, and and those albums would have like 30, 35 photos to 32 photos, because that's how much a film roll was. Uh, I think I think it's a really nice effort if you're able to put together your life cut stories in these albums, because we don't know whether you'll lose your password to your cloud account at some point in time, or the cloud account itself shuts down. Google kills like 5 services a year, so God only knows what's gonna happen to Google Photos, right? Yeah, and as much as you rely on the cloud, try and create some kind of physical memory, because more than just the physical part of it, it's also organizing and curating your memories, which I think is a big deal. It's nice to look back at it, so try and do that.
For me, Snapseed works great, and
Hmm.
I've never looked at any other software because I'm so used to it. I'm sure there are tons
Hmm.
of other features, like you said, right? Presets and
Hmm.
stuff. The only
Hmm.
pet
Hmm.
peeve with Snapseed is I wish you could save the settings you do. You
Hmm.
can't move it from device to device, which
Hmm.
is a pain in the ass. Like I, I'll 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 make my edits and create those look
Hmm.
presets,
Hmm.
and those you can't transfer. So every time you
You
switch your
can.
device, how?
Can I teach you how right
Yeah,
now?
please, please, please.
So Snapseed, it's not a hidden feature, but it is in a very poorly hidden menu. Okay, basically when you open Snapseed, don't open an image with it, but I mean open an image with Snapseed. At the bottom you see these things called looks. Okay,
Yeah,
uh, I'm sure you've made one, right?
correct. Yeah,
So if you go there, all the way to the end, there is a horizontal hamburger menu. If you do that, it'll have a scan QR code or make QR code for your look.
dude. Thank you for telling me this.
So it is there. It is because I've done it in the past. Like I've had clients of mine when I shoot a wedding where bride or groom, they're like, "How do your edits look so neat?" So then I'm like, "Hey, listen, just scan this QR code. It's on Snapseed."
Because
So
I
yeah.
literally made a preset for one of my friends' wedding who got married a couple of weeks back. So I was
Hmm.
trying to be consistent with the pictures I was posting, and that works so well. I didn't know about this feature. Thank you. Uh, Snapseed is super easy to edit. In fact, that
Yes.
one feature is that portrait thing,
Mm,
and that
mm.
can just brighten up someone's face, change a little bit of smile if you want, where the eyes
Add
are
a
looking.
catchlight.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So
crazy.
so cool. Mm.
For iPhones, my other one app that I use quite a bit is Halide for raw
Mm,
pictures. Works
mm,
really, really well, and really good team that's behind it. I was
mm,
playing around with the 14 Pro raw files,
mm,
42 megapixel raw files,
mm,
and even though it's that Pro raw where there is some amount of processing happening and it's not as raw as things could get,
mm.
the quality is so much better than the JPEG it puts out with all the processing. It's crazy amount of detail to just imagine a phone having that. Google Photos, I think, is super underrated. Even if you're not
Yes.
a Android user, Google Photos is just far superior than iPhotos. Purely
Yes.
from for me, the searching aspect. It
Yes.
is so easy to find pictures. You say wine bottle, Italian wine bottle,
Mm.
and it'll pull up that from your library because it
Yeah.
even does text recognition and stuff. uh, Whatever device you're on, definitely use Google Photos for backups. Easy.
There's another small hidden feature in Google Photos, which was supposed to be a pixel specific feature at one point in time, but it's just hidden in Google Photos for everyone. The ability to open any video and stabilize it. uh, Literally stabilize it, like hyper stabilization,
Yeah.
like to the level that it seems like a completely seamless gimbal level shot video. uh, if you're using Google Photos, it's right there. Open any video and it you will see a small tilted rectangle within a opaque rectangle icon. Click on it and your video will be stabilized.